Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com, J.B.
What's up, Chris?
You don't usually take this long to come out of the locker room. What message were you trying to get across?
Excuse me. It's more about solving things than getting a message across at this point. We're not playing winning basketball right now, and it's that simple. We have a formula in place that allows us, or will allow us to be successful. Holding each other to that is what we have to do. And right now we are not. And it's that simple. And there's just, it's my responsibility to search and find the guys that are most willing to play the way we want to play, that'll help us all be successful. So that's what we'll do.
Why do you think you've lost that?
I think, honestly, we've got kind of a fat cat mentality. We went out and won 8 games in a row. Everybody was giving us love and praising us, and we got really comfortable. We are the team that won those 8 games, though, right? We are a really good basketball team. This is about maturation and growth from, a team as a whole. Not one guy's going to do it. Not 2 guys are going to do it. Understanding the difference between being the guy who's chasing and the guy who's being chased, and how hard it is to win in the NBA. When you are a team who other teams expect to be good and expect to win, how individual players take that, how that's a sign of respect, right? But they're competitors, and they want to take that from you. So what you have to do every single night to show up and win, we're still learning that, unfortunately. We have a lot of season left to be played, obviously, and, we'll get it right. This is a valuable lesson for us. The NBA is one thing my dad told me a long time ago is the NBA will always humble you, right? As soon as you get too big for your britches, no matter who you are, the NBA has a way of humbling you. And, hopefully this has been enough, and we'll make the decision to do what's right by each other.
When did you first sense that, to use your words, that fat cat mentality?
It started kind of on our West Coast trip, and I first saw it on the defensive end of the floor. We got away from being who we are. We got to a point where, and, respectively so, like, we were confident that we could score the ball. But, we should always be, and if you want to win and win in this league at the level that we hope to, you can't do it if you don't guard. And defense comes down to the effort you're willing to put in, the second effort, the third effort, the fourth effort that you're willing to put in. And right now, we don't have enough guys that are putting in the second, third, and fourth effort. Too often I see us saving ourselves, and for what, I'm unsure of. But you give up 21 second chance points tonight. Shows us you're being outworked. So it's, again, our responsibilities as coaches to find the groups of guys that are going to do what we ask them to do on a consistent basis. Does this shake the way I feel about our team? No. Right? I love all these dudes the same, but it's our responsibility to do what's best by the team and find the guys that are going to play the way we need to play. Hey, what's up?
You pulled your starters about 4:30 balance. Just kind of curious about your thought process there. If that just seems that they didn't have it, you were able to kind of get them out of there, kind of what? Just seemed like a little, probably touched earlier that some coaches probably hold their guys off the floor. Kind of what was your, what's off your head at that point?
It wasn't just one game, and it never is. It's a continued carryover of leading up to this point. And, preparing ourselves for the long term is what this is about. I don't base my decisions on one game. Making Darius and Donovan, have to play close to 40 minutes in one game, where, I didn't feel like as a group we were doing the things that were putting ourselves in position to win. That puts them in an uncomfortable position long term. So, I will not sacrifice the long term for one night, because, the long term is the most important thing for us, and, we've got to learn from these things.
Donovan, I think had 16 or 14 in the first quarter, and it was relatively quiet the rest of the night. Sort of when you big switch, simply on him for the remainder of the game.
We'll go back and watch it. Again, I think there is, we are still a work in progress, right? So figuring out how groups work together, how we continue to find the hot hand, how we get the ball to individuals, versus different defenses and coverages and all those things. I think those are things that we're still working on as a team, and that we've got to continue to get better at in the flow. The game is, moving quickly. So those are things that we have to recognize and do a better job of, but I'll go back and watch it, and see what the difference was.
Last two, Parker, second, Chris. Stephen Garvey, Associated Press. Y'all were ahead for most of the first half there. It was close, but y'all were ahead most of the way. What changed in the second half, or was it a case of maybe in the first half you were shooting so well by the mass?
It was, to me, again, you give up 61 points and a half, against a team who, has guys who have been champions. You get an 11-point lead, I think it was, in the first half, and you don't sustain what you were doing to get the lead. It's all, to me, the same mentality, right? The mentality of, the fat cat who's comfortable and complacent. And you cannot succeed in the league this way. So we'll fix it. I'm certain of that. And we'll be better for this time.
Last one was Chris.
J.B., was the strategy against Giannis to try and make him a passer tonight?
You want to do the job of trying to limit him from getting to the paint and getting to the rim and staying off the free throw line. I think, obviously, I thought we did a good job of that. I think he still got to the free throw line, a little bit more than you would have liked, because we were a little bit late sometimes in our help. But if, he's dominating the painted area and assisting the ball, then you really don't stand a chance to beat this team. So we want to try to make it as difficult on them as we could. But again, it goes back to, being frank, second effort, right? If your job is to initially be in, when the ball is moved, your second effort gets you to the shooter, right? How many times do we look up and we were closing out short to Brook Lopez? Like, that's the second, third, fourth effort we're talking about. And again, we know we're capable of it, right? And it's my responsibility to fix it, and I will.
You've talked about having confidence that you guys will fix this, and it's not just tonight. You've said it for the last week. What makes you so confident, even though you're seeing what you're seeing right now?
I believe in those guys in the locker room, and that hasn't wavered. And again, history and experience tells you that building good teams doesn't come without its difficulties. To be honest with you, it was more of a shock that we won 8 games in a row. Just from, again, history and experience, like, this is what we're going through now, is what you see early in teams that are building and that are a work in progress. And that's what we are. Let's just be honest with ourselves here. Do we believe there's a good team in that locker room? Hell yeah. Do we believe we've got individual talent in there? You know, elite individual talent? Hell yeah, right? But building team takes more than that. It takes time. It takes experiences together. And, you know, my belief in this group has not wavered and never will.